Hi, welcome back to 5th grade Green Math. I'm Linwood Fields, your Green instructor. Lecture 6 is on multiplication with decimal numbers. The objectives: know what a mixed number is. Know how to multiply decimal numbers. Here's a quick review of decimal numbers. Let's look at notation. As shown on the electronic adding machine below, better known as a calculator, the number 15.65 has a whole number part, which is the 15, and a fractional part, which is 6,500. So this number is read as 15.65. A decimal number in general has a whole number part and a fractional part. The whole number part is to the left of the decimal point. The fractional part is to the right of the decimal point. The fractional part of the number represents a part that is less than 1. It's a piece of a whole. A piece of a whole. So a decimal number basically gives us another way to represent a mixed number like 1 and 1/2, which has a whole number part and a fractional part. The whole number part is 1 and the fractional part is 1/2. So basically a mixed number and a decimal number tell us the same thing. But with a mixed number, the part that is less than 1 is represented with a fraction. Like in this example, 1/2. But with a decimal number, the part that is less than 1 is represented to the right of the decimal point. In the number 15.65, as shown on the adding machine below, the 6 is to the right of the decimal point and is in the tenths place. The 5 to the right of the decimal point is in the hundredths place. And actually, there is no 6 to the left of the decimal point. Because the tenths place is to the left of the hundredths place, then the tenths place represents a larger value than the hundredths place. And actually, it is 10 times larger. When the whole number part of a decimal number is 0, we write the decimal number as follows. We write 0.27. So hopefully you can see that mixed numbers and decimal numbers give us the same information. And you should be able to describe the difference between the two. Here's an example of multiplying decimal numbers. 1.25 times 5. Now, multiplication with decimals is easy. First, ignore the decimal point and simply multiply the two factors using the methods that we covered in the last lecture. Then you go back and count the total number of digits to the right of the decimal point in both factors. Remember, factors are the numbers that we are multiplying. You use this total number of digits to the right of the decimal point to determine how many times to move the decimal point to the left in the product. Remember, when we multiply two numbers together, we get a product. That's the answer. Step 1. Write the factors without the decimal point. Right here, we removed the decimal point between the 1 and the 2. And in the last lecture, we saw that we write the largest value down first. That's why 125 is on top. Step 2. Multiply using the techniques we learned in last lecture. Okay, we go to the bottom number. 5 times 5 is 25. We write the 5 down and carry the 2. So the 25 is not this 25 here. The 25 is this 2 and this 5. Go to the next digit. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus the 2 that we carried right here give us 12. The 12 is here. 1, 2. Not this 12, but 1, 2. Okay, so let's do this again. 5 times 2 is 12. We write down the 2 and carry the 1. Okay, now we got to add 2 plus 0. 2 plus 0 is 2. Let's go to the last digit. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 plus the 1 that we carried from the previous steps give us 6. So at this point, 5 times 125 is 625. Step 3. Count the total number of digits to the right of the decimal point in both factors. So up here in 1.25, we have 2 digits to the right of the decimal point. 5 has 0 digits to the right of the decimal point. So we have a total of 2 digits to the right of the decimal point. Okay, right here, what we have done is we have written the product from the previous step down as a decimal number. Remember, from the last step, we ended up with 625. Now, we want to write that as a decimal number. So we add a decimal point and add a 0 after the decimal point. Now, 625 and 625.0 are the same number because we can always add a decimal point and zeros to a whole number without changing the value of the whole number. Step 4, using our total in step 2, using our total from step 3, in step 3, we found that we had a total of 2 digits to the right of the decimal point. So using that total of 2, we moved the decimal point in 625.0 to the left 2 places because we had 2 digits to the right of the decimal point in both numbers, or in both factors. 1.25 had 2 digits to the right of the decimal point, and 5 had 0 digits to the right of the decimal point. 2 plus 0 is 2. So we moved the decimal point in 625 to the left 2 places. So let me show that. So we moved the decimal place 1 hump, 2 hump. Ooh, that's bad. Let me redo this. Erase. Let's try it again. Here's the decimal point. Move it 1 time. It would be right here. And then 1 more time. 1 plus 1 is 2. So we're going to put it right here. That's why down here the decimal point is between the 6 and the 2. Now, our final answer can be written as simply 6.25 because dropping the zeros at the end of a decimal number does not change the value of the decimal number. And 6.25 is a better practice than writing down 6.250, unless for some reason we were trying to show the precision in our answer. We are finished. Therefore, 1.25 times 5 is equal to 6.25. Example 2, we're going to multiply two two-digit decimal numbers. So we're going to multiply 0.26 by 0.83. Step 1, write the factors without the decimal point. So 0.26 without the decimal point is 26. 0.83 without the decimal point is 83. Now we can, in this case, because both numbers have the same number of digits, we could put the 26 on top. But sticking with what we learned in the last lecture, we're going to put the larger factor, 83, on top. In step 2, multiply using the techniques we learned in the last lecture. First, multiply 6 times the top factor. So we're going to multiply 6 times 83 because 6 is in the ones place. And remember, when we multiply the bottom number or the bottom factor, we start at the right and proceed to the left. So we start at 6. So multiply 6 times 83. 6 times 3 is 18. Write down the 8 up under the ones column and carry the 1. 6 times 8 is 48. 48 plus the 1 we carried from the last step give us 49. Write the 9 in the tens place and carry the 4 over to the hundreds place. Okay, we're through multiplying with 6 because we multiplied by the first digit, which is 8. We multiplied it by the leftmost digit, which is 8. Next, we multiply 2 times the top factor. 2 times 3 is 6. So we start putting the answer up under the tens column. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 8 is 16. Put the 6 up under the hundreds column and put the 1 in the thousands column. And then we draw the second horizontal line. Because remember, each one of these digits generates a number between the horizontal lines. We got 1, 2 digits, so we have 1, 2 numbers between the horizontal lines, 498 and 166. Now, add the numbers between the horizontal lines. 8 plus 0 is 8. 9 plus 6 is 15. Write down the 5 and carry the 1. 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 plus 1 that we carried is 11. Write the 1 down and carry the 1. 1 plus the 1 that we just carried is equal to 2. So at this point, we're looking at 2,158. Now we count the total number of digits to the right of the decimal point in our factors. Let's start with 0.26. 1, 2 digits to the right of the decimal point, and in 0.83, 1, 2 digits to the right of the decimal point. 2 plus 2 is 4. So we have a total of 4 digits to the right of the decimal point in both factors. So at this point, we write down the answer or the product that we got, 2,158. We write it down as a decimal number, So we would write it down as 2,158.0. And then we move the decimal place to the left 4 times. So let's go ahead and show that. Here's the decimal point. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we put it right here. Put the decimal point in front of, and put the decimal point in front of the 2. And we end up with 0.2158. Therefore, 0.26 times 0.83 is equal to 0.2158. And that's all there is to it. Summary. A mixed number is a number that has both a whole number part and a fractional part. The fractional part is actually written as a fraction, as opposed to, like in a decimal number, writing it with digits to the right of the decimal point. So in decimal numbers, the part that's less than 1, the fractional part, is written to the right of the decimal point. In mixed numbers, the fractional part is actually written as a fraction. Now we're going to do more with mixed numbers once we get into fractions a little bit down the road, not too far. To multiply decimal numbers, here's the recipe that I did not give you the recipe, but you should have been able to come up with the recipe based on the 2 examples. Step 1, ignore the decimal point and simply multiply the 2 factors using the methods we covered in the last lecture. Step 2, write the product from step 1 with a decimal point and 1 0 to the right of the decimal point. Step 3, count the total number of digits to the right of the decimal point in both factors. Use this total number to determine how many times to move the decimal point to the left in the product. Here are some practice problems. This link here has great math activities for the 5th grader and problems. Go to math on the 5th grade. That is the end of this lecture. Thanks for your attention and time. I hope to see you at the next lecture. Have a great day. Bye.